Hello and welcome to Audio Gyan.
Hi, welcome Krutika. Thanks for being on the show. Why don't you start with just introducing yourself?
Hi, Kedar. Thanks for having me on the show. I'm quite excited. I started off in radio, and I was there for about 4 years before I moved into publishing, which is where I really wanted to be, because I also didn't see any sort of growth for radio. Worked there for about a year and a half, and then I went on to do my master's in writing and publishing. And I've been in the content space ever since then. Worked for an NGO for a bit, wrote some books for kids. And then I was with Urban Ladder for 2 years, a little over 2 years. And now here I am at ClearTrip.
And what are you doing in ClearTrip right now?
So I'm leading the content and strategy thinking for local.
Thank you. Our main topic today will be around tone of voice and what are the challenges and other things from a brand standpoint. So the first question is, what is tone of voice?
Tone of voice is the character of the brand. It's an expression of the values the company is founded on. So if you take, for example, Warby Parker, it's young and it's fresh. So it's a reflection of the founders who are also fairly young and wanted to start something that was different and wanted to take over or actually disrupt the whole eyeglasses market, which they, after research, found that it was basically owned by one big company, right? So, and they actually started off with a very unconventional office space. People wanted to come and try on glasses, so the founder just opened up their existing office, which was also his house, to let people come on and try their glasses. And that's something that they have continued with their current stores as well. There's always something fun. One of their stores has this old school telegram chute. Okay. So the glasses actually come up from that glass tube and then reaches the customer. So they've maintained that even in their PR activities, they've always done something unconventional. And so that to me is the character of the brand, right? So tone of voice has to capture that. So Casper is about simplifying the mattress buying process, one mattress for great sleep, and they've stuck to that in all their communication. They have made sure that the focus is on the R&D, that amount of time and research it takes to develop that one perfect product. So their website is dedicated to that. Their emails, the blogs that they have made, all ties back to the one focus that they have for the brand, which is to make mattress buying simple. You don't have to choose between 15 different mattresses, 18 different mattresses. There's just one. We've done all the thinking for you, and everything else is just about enjoying sleep. And with Indian brands, there's Paperboat. So their character is memories. So the tone of voice also reflects that, whether they're talking about childhood or school or summer holidays, it's always in that zone. So that to me is tone of voice. It's the character of the brand.
If a person connects with a brand through its color, say for example Vodafone with red, similarly there is a sort of a communication pattern which instantly communicates with the brand. That's in a nutshell.
It's hard to say if just, especially because it's tone of voice, right? So it's something that's long term. It doesn't trigger the same thing as a logo, right? It's across communication. So your emails, your post copy, your Instagram posts, the strategy that drives it.
It's more of a character which evolves over time. So what is the role of language in defining the tone of voice?
So language helps you capture the right emotions. Punctuation and phrasing then helps you express it. So when people read the words, they're able to hear the right voice, the right intonation. Is your brand friendly? Is your brand informative? Is it speaking from a voice of experience? Is it supposed to guide them? Or is it supposed to speak to them on their level? If you look at, say, so Amul is different because their entire, I know what you're talking about, right? That comic strip. The goal there is just to ensure that Amul stays on topic, right? So the language there is punning. They play on words. But if you take something like a Practo, for example, the category that they're in is connecting you to doctors. So their tone of voice will always be more informative, like they know more than you do. Right? So that is the role of language. It establishes who the brand is.
The next question is, like, how does one brand establishes relevance with their audience?
So you establish relevance by picking the right topics to talk about that are in tune with the category that the brand is operating in. So at Urban Ladder, a no housework day makes sense. At Clear Trip, a Holi might make more sense. St. Patrick's Day will make sense. Right? So it's about ensuring that we play to our strengths. That just because some other brand is doing it and doing a good job of it doesn't mean that it's relevant for all brands.
What I meant by relevance is also, do you need to change the tone of voice if it's a brand like Nike or Puma?
So definitely, each platform has its own audience, right? The audience on Facebook is very different from the audience on Instagram versus the audience on Twitter. So, of course, your tone of voice slightly, it needs to adapt to the audience that you're speaking to, but it will always maintain the voice of the brand. The tone might change, you might become wittier, you might use hashtags more, but the voice will always be the same, which is established by saying, are you positive, are you friendly, or are you hard to get, are you aspirational? So Louis Vuitton will always be aspirational. On whatever channel they're on Instagram, even if they use the relevant hashtags, they won't lose that sense of, I need to work X number of years before I buy that, or buying that is a status symbol. They will always maintain that.
So that puts me in a different question, that how long does a brand take to establish this? I mean, is it a couple of years? Is it 50 years? Like, is there any parameter as to reach? So I'm not talking about the reach to the people, but even if it's focused to a very niche audience, how long does this tone of voice take to establish?
It depends. Some brands are able to get it right off the bat because their foundation has been that strong. The vision of the people who started it has been that strong, and it's permeated through all the employees. So they don't struggle with it. It's inherent when the marketing team comes together, when the brand team comes together, when the content and copy people come together, they're automatically able to sense it and build on it. Whereas for some other brands, they need outside help to be able to see what their USP is. What is it that will help them strike a chord with an audience?
That's where the agency comes in, probably.
Correct. So some of them use an agency, whereas the cash-strapped ones try and do it in-house. But there's a lot of merit in an agency because this is what they do, right? Like years and years of experience. They will actually be better placed. Someone from there will actually be better placed to answer the question that you had, which is how long does it take to build a brand that is unshakable?
So yeah, I wanted to keep this AudioGyan a bit short, as I had also covered something on branding and strategy in another AudioGyan as well. But just so what does a word mean to you? Real meaning of words you find in life, which was very philosophically intriguing for me. So that's where I am coming from this question, that what does word mean to you? Or since you're playing with words all the time, how do you see a word?
That's actually very interesting because I'd never seen words that way. But yeah, it's true, right? Because you can find definitions in a dictionary, but meaning is something that comes from experiencing that word. I don't know if this is answering your question directly, because to me, words carry weight more than meaning. So when it's used right, there's a balance. It does what it's supposed to do, whether it's to evoke an emotion, whether it's to make someone laugh, smile, smirk, right? So it achieves the goal that you wanted it to achieve. Used carelessly, there's an imbalance. And I read something today that made my blood boil, right? There was a heading for a section and it was, well-timed pivots or knee-jerk pirouettes. And pirouette comes from ballet. So the first thing that comes to mind is elegance, balance, beautiful, and it's executed with precision. And knee-jerk reactions is not that, right? So it makes no sense to me, and it's almost as if the writer or the editor just said, "Oh, look, we've said well-timed pivots, knee-jerk. What's another word with P that we can use?" And they just slapped on pirouettes there, and it completely loses the weight of what it can carry and what it's supposed to do.
So that's it from today's Gyan session. Thank you, Krutika.
Thanks for having me, Kedar.
Stay tuned for more Audio Gyan next week. Till then, bye.